So here we have a review of the Nike Zoom Vomero Roam in Summit White, and this is a new silhouette for 2024, and it has the, I suppose, hiking runner style vibes. So it's part of the Vomero lineage, and which is mainly seen as a sort of runner style sneaker. And this is taking the combination of a runner style sneaker, but then made more for sort of winterized, and also it's been designed for city conditions. So that's the main sort of purpose of this particular trainer. And like I said, it's probably more or less sort of based on a Vomero 5. That's like the closest that I can sort of see. It's not using the 5 tagline, it's using just the Vomero name, but maybe that's to give it its own, I guess, unique silhouette naming. And with the details, it comes in a Summit White, light bone and light iron ore colourway. And that's what attracted me to this particular sneaker. I think out of the bunch that have been released, this one feels like the most neutral and sort of easy to wear. And as far as I know, I mean, it is called a Zoom sneaker, so I imagine it's got the same as a Vomero, but I'm not 100% on this, but I can definitely feel something in the heel. So I'm guessing there's a Zoom AirPod in the heel, and I'm guessing there's one in the forefoot, which doesn't really sort of tell you on anywhere on the websites, but assuming it's living up to the Vomero name and the Zoom name, then I'm guessing it's got both pods in there. And this also has a Cushlon midsole, so it still feels quite similar to how a standard Vomero 5 feels in that sense, and it's quite still sort of on the soft side. And this is what they have called the hard outsole in terms of the rubber material that's been used on this. It's one of those sort of sneakers that is using that high abrasion type material. And from what I can sort of understand is the area on here around the bottom of the sneaker, this is all rubberized, and so in that sense it's waterproof and makes it kind of, I guess, for winterized as well, so being sort of rugged as well, and one of those sort of pieces of on the trainers there, even though it's synthetic, it will keep you protected. And then the upper feels like it's made of ripstop material, which isn't like Gore-Tex material, but it says it's waterproof, so I'm not 100% on that, but I imagine it's waterproof to an extent. But obviously if it's really heavy raining and you're going to get drenched, then this, I imagine, water will sort of seep through, but on the bottom half you'll be fine. It's more just on the top half here in the toe box area. And the price for these are £165. So with the comfort and sizing, much to my surprise, this is more on the soft to medium side, maybe even going towards the medium, and feels very similar to Vomero. I think for me, having them on feet, even though they're kind of made more of a hiking type sneaker, it's still very much in the Vomero sort of line and comfort. And this has sort of good neutral support around the arch. There seems to be enough sort of contouring, for the insole itself. So you do sit in there quite nicely, and enough support in the arch, in my opinion. And I don't think there's any wearing time with these. They felt pretty good out of the box. I think the only thing that I'll say is got these sort of bungee style laces where you can sort of see they're stretchy, and that's the only thing that has that sort of clamped down feeling. But there's nothing you can do about that, because that's the the way the trainer is. It's meant to be like a hiking type trainer, so it's kind of keep you sort of locked in place, and I don't mind that personally, but some people may not like that type feel. And you can go true to size in this. This is what I did with this pair, and it's been fine. I think if I'd went half size up, I'd probably be having too much room. I'd probably be swimming in them. So for me, even though I have a wide foot, I felt they were fine and perfect. And these have great traction for everyday wear, so you can sort of see the outsole, and it's got some sort of thing on here. It's saying 0.45. I think it's HAGR rubber. It's saying, which is the hard abrasion something rubber. And it's one of those ones where it should work well, and it feels really robust and quite sort of up to the challenge of sort of walking around in the city, and also in any kind of sort of terrain really. So I think they've done a good job on that. So with the look and style, I do like the neutral colourways, and that's the reason why I ended up purchasing this. I think initially when I saw these, I wasn't a fan of them because I felt like it was riffing too much on a standard Vomero 5, but having them in hand, they do actually look a lot nicer. And as I mentioned earlier, it is a winterized sort of trail shoe, so don't assume that this is a standard runner trainer and it's going to be sort of lightweight, because it's not that. It's it's more on the sort of rugged, heavier side. And this is a good one to wear sort of autumn winter. Even though this is a light colourway, this trainer and the way it's been built, and the materials that are being used on here is very much for the winter type wear. And I would also say you can't really dress these up smart. They're more of a sort of casual sneaker, and they're quite sort of similar to, I suppose, the Salomon line as well. So I think it's taken a sort of, I suppose, an influence from that as well, in my opinion. And it comes with these bungee laces, but I'm sure you could sort of cut these out if you wanted to, and if they're kind of, you know, causing you problems, and put in some standard laces. And, you know, there's all sorts of options that you can go for: the white, grey, cream, sail. They'll kind of all work with this particular sneaker. So with the final thoughts, I like the neutral colours on this. I think it's really nice, and, you know, this is one of the nicer colourways in my opinion. And also I like the fact that they use winterised materials, so it's a perfect sneaker for like the winter time. And they're comfortable as well, so I was surprised by how comfortable they are. I mean, I wouldn't have expected less from the Vomero line, but at the same time, it's still, you know, nice to be sort of surprised. With the cons, I think the cost, 165, it's not like they're asking a lot of money in terms of if you compare it to other hiking trainers. And for me, I think it's one of those ones where if you're sort of happy paying that price, you can, you know, grab them. But at the moment, you know, they seem to be sitting, so you can probably grab them maybe further down the line, you know, on sale, and I think then it's probably a lot more worth it. And also, this is like a really sort of finicky thing for me, but I just don't like the top-down view, in the sense that this looks really nice and really sleek, but when you kind of look at the outsole, it kind of makes it look really fat, and that's my only thing. It's a minor issue, but when you're looking down, it doesn't quite feel like the shape is quite there. It's almost like it's, you know, this needs to be shaved down a bit on this side and this side for, you know, for it to appear, you know, much more of a, I suppose, symmetrical sneaker. And I also say they're quite heavy as well, so don't expect these to be like a standard Vomero 5 to be on the lightweight side. They do feel heavy, so don't get it, you know, twisted. It's going to be a heavy sneaker. So with the ratings, I'm going to give the look and style a 4 out of 5. Before, when I initially previewed these and talked about these, you know, I was quite sort of scathing, but I think having them in hand, I actually think they look nice, and probably quite sort of worth it, really. And the comfort, I'm going to give it a 4. It's not a 5 out of 5. It's not the same as a Vomero. Vomero for me is a 5 out of 5, like the standard Vomero 5. And this comes close. Obviously, like I said, it's more of a heavier winterised sneaker, so it's going to be a bit different in terms of its comfort. And the quality, I'm going to give that a 5. I think they've used, not like really premium materials, but they're really sort of rugged and hard wearing. So I'm expecting, you know, they will sort of live up to the name. And the pricing, I'm going to give that a 4. I think they could probably come in at a slightly lower price, but then saying that, you know, a standard Vomero 5 is coming in at about £140, £150. So it's not too bad, I suppose, the price. And overall, I'm going to give the sneaker a 4 out of 5, which I'm pleasantly surprised by. I think if I could grab a couple of pairs on sale, then they would replace the Salomon trainers for me, in terms of sort of, you know, if I ever go sort of hiking, or, you know, sort of on holiday trips where it requires a lot of walking in sort of different terrains, and this is probably another sort of good alternative versus a Salomon. I do like the Salomons because they feel a lot more like trainers and probably less heavy, and I think this one feels a bit more heavier compared to sort of the Salomon trainers like the XT4 and the XT6, so just bear that in mind. But, you know, I'd be happy having a pair of these to walk around in for, you know, trail hiking type scenarios.